Donald Trump appears to turn on his own anti-abortion supporters in a Truth Central post, Truth Central or Truth Social or however you want to call it.
Truth Central.
Yeah, that thing, the thing that's failing, where he is now blaming Republicans for taking too extreme a position on the issue of abortion. Now, what's really, really interesting about this is that, number one, it's enraging many Trump supporters. Number two, there's a kernel of truth to it. But number three, it misses the really big picture of why a lot of these Republicans lost, which is that they were absolutely terrible, terrible candidates. So let's talk about it. Newsweek reporting Donald Trump turns on his own supporters over abortion. Donald Trump has blamed the Republican Party's disappointing midterm performances on the abortion issue rather than the failure of his endorsed candidates. So the Truth Central post is as follows, quote, this is a beautiful New Year's message from Trump. Quote, it wasn't my fault that the Republicans didn't live up to expectations in the midterms. I was 233 and 20. That's his endorsement record. It was the abortion issue, poorly handled by many Republicans, especially those that firmly insisted on no exceptions, even in the case of capital R rape, capital I incest, or capital L life of the mother, that lost large numbers of capital V voters. Also, the people that pushed so hard for decades against abortion got their wish from the U.S. Supreme Court and just plain disappeared, not to be seen again. Plus, Mitch stupid dollars. I think that's something about Mitch McConnell deploying money in what Trump considers to be a stupid way. So there's a couple interesting things here. First of all, I just want to remind you, when Trump touts that endorsement record of 233 and 20, remember, many of us could have that endorsement record. And what I mean by that is Trump mostly endorsed incumbents, including some who were running essentially unopposed in heavy red districts. He endorsed the primary winners in red districts. It's not difficult to rack up a lot of wins. The important thing is that the critical races that would have made a difference, the contested races, Mehmet Oz in Pennsylvania and Mastriano and Tudor Dixon, Trump failed on those, and those are actually the ones that really mattered. But more importantly, Trump says that the problem here was the abortion issue. So there's a couple things here. First of all, is it true that running against abortion with no exceptions is a bad strategy for Republicans? Yes, that is absolutely true. There's limited appeal because it's increasingly an unpopular opinion. More Americans than at any point in the Roe v. Wade era believe that abortion should be usually legal in most circumstances. So taking a position of no abortion, no exceptions, even in the cases Trump mentions, it is a bad idea. It's an inflexible position because you can't end up compromising unless you want to look like someone who's just putting their finger to the wind. When you say just no abortion, no exceptions, you're starting from a point of lack of flexibility. It doesn't match public opinion. Sometimes focusing too much on a single issue can hurt you because people see you as, oh, that's the abortion guy or gal. You're not really going to deal with this thing that's important to me or that other issue or education or healthcare or whatever the case may be. So it is accurate that a no exceptions position on abortion is increasingly out of step with public opinion and it doesn't make sense. But this is also part of Trump never taking responsibility for anything and being the victim. It wasn't my fault, he starts his Truth Central post by saying. They took these positions. Well, you endorsed them, didn't you? And the reality is they picked terrible candidates. Look at some of the people they selected. Carrie Lake, a conspiracy theorist who doesn't know anything about anything. And she almost won, by the way. Blake Masters for Senate in Arizona. Maybe one of the worst candidates in the last 20 years. Mehmet Oz, a quack TV doctor who it's not even clear really lived in Pennsylvania to fight against John Fetterman. Doug Mastriano, almost literally a January 6th rioter, to run against Josh Shapiro, uncontroversial, good candidate, the right opinions on so many issues. Tudor Dixon, Herschel Walker, who can barely even speak. So was it the abortion issue, or was it really an issue of poor candidates? And I think we know the truth. Abortion is important, but the decision by the Supreme Court was a little too early to affect the 2022 races as much as maybe some of us on the left hoped. And some of the Republicans with that no exceptions view on abortion did win. It was the terrible candidates that lost. Now, in terms of the impact on Trump's supporters of Trump saying this, the super pro-lifers are not happy. And it's sort of beyond the scope of this segment to talk in more detail about that. But there are some the people for whom abortion is the most important issue, and they hate it and want no exceptions, are very, very unhappy with what Donald Trump is saying. We'll see if it affects his 2024 candidacy, which is not exactly off to a brilliant start. Let's now take a quick look at this humiliating event that Donald Trump did on New Year's Eve.